Apparently, Trump being a criminal isn't enough for MAGA radio host Clay Travis, as he wants MAGA supporters to now become felons by tampering with this case. He tweeted out during the first day of the Trump trial, "If you're a Trump supporter in New York City who is a part of the jury pool, do everything you can to get seated on the jury and then refuse to convict as a matter of principle, dooming the case via hung jury. It's the most patriotic thing you could do." I mean, according to MAGA, being a patriot means chanting "Hang Mike Pence" outside of the Capitol when Mike Pence is executing the peaceful transfer of power. It means calling election officials across the country and trying to get them to throw out completely valid votes and subvert the will of the American people. And I guess it means tampering with a trial that should be completely fair. Whether it be our election systems or our court systems, apparently no institution is too sacred in the conservative war against trans people and Hunter Biden. But this tweet encapsulates the entire MAGA movement right now. Who cares about evidence? Who cares about facts? Who cares if Donald Trump is actually guilty of committing crimes when you can just go based off of these vague principles that you hold, and these principles are just supporting Donald Trump no matter what. But as I already said, this would be a felony. Jury tampering is a felony. But it's not like MAGA committing crimes for Donald Trump is anything new. I mean, how many people got arrested for seditious conspiracy? How many people got arrested for breaking into the Capitol and trying to stop the peaceful transfer of power? I wouldn't even be surprised if someone got arrested for jury tampering and then Donald Trump says he will pardon them, just like he'll pardon the so-called January 6th hostages. But it really seems like all of the MAGA influencers are on one today. Right-wing host Charlie Kirk said the left believes that by putting Trump on trial in New York and convicting him, they will finally disqualify and discredit Trump from the presidency. First of all, the left isn't putting Trump on trial. He was indicted by a grand jury in Manhattan. Charlie Kirk is already wrong. And also, we don't need to discredit Trump. Trump has discredited himself throughout his presidency, after his presidency, making up all of these lies. And I think the vast majority of the American people would agree that the president should not be above the law. A former president should not be above the law. Just because he is rich and he is one of the elites does not mean he doesn't deserve to be punished. If anything, this disproves the idea that Donald Trump is just one of us. He's just a common man. It disproves this populist idea that Donald Trump is for the average person because Donald Trump thinks he should be above the law. Charlie Kirk continues by saying they're wrong. This trial doesn't discredit Trump. Instead, it discredits one of the only effective institutions America has left, the criminal justice system. Republicans love the criminal justice system until it doesn't go their way. Then all of a sudden everything is rigged and they cry foul. Now, Katie Britt just went on Fox News, and if you recognize that name, she was the person who did the response to the State of the Union, where she was weirdly smiling in that empty kitchen. You'll recognize her. But she was basically implying that the entire trial is a sham. But what I love about this is that she has a cross around her neck, but she's defending Donald Trump, who paid hush money to a porn star while he was cheating on his third wife. And there's nothing wrong with getting remarried. I don't really care about that. But like, the hypocrisy is just insane to me.
People are sick of the two-tiered system of justice that we're seeing. And I think that the more the media can talk about this, which we're going to see them do, then the less they have to talk about what a disaster this country is under Joe Biden. They know people want Donald Trump back in the White House, and they absolutely cannot stand it.
It's the perfect transition.
This is the man that Christians now hold up on a pedestal, the man who cheated on his pregnant wife with a porn star. Take a look at this clip of a MAGA supporter outside of the trial saying that most men use prostitutes. It's really not a big deal. It gives me flashbacks to my last MAGA rally.
The man is a germaphobe. You know where I'm going with this. If he had an affair, okay, services were paid for, services rendered, services paid for, right? So what are we talking about? Lots of men use prostitutes.
Now, Maggie Haberman, famous journalist from the New York Times, was inside the courtroom and she was giving live updates where she said it seems like Donald Trump is falling asleep. And since that's happened, Sleepy Don has gone viral on Twitter. It is now trending #1. And the Truth Social Trump stock has plummeted even further. Let's take a look at this clip of Maggie Haberman on CNN explaining what she saw.
And 40 minutes ago, you wrote an observation that I was very surprised. Trump appears to be sleeping. His head keeps dropping down and his mouth goes slack. Tell us about that.
Well, Jake, he appeared to be asleep, and repeatedly his head would fall down. There have been other moments in other trials, like the Agent Carroll trial, which was around the corner in January, where he appeared very still and seemed as if he might be sleeping, but then he would move. This time, he didn't pay attention to a note that his lawyer, Todd Blanche, passed him. His jaw kept falling on his chest, and his mouth kept going slack. Now, sometimes people do fall asleep during court proceedings, but it's notable given the intensity of this morning and a lot of what was being argued.
Yeah, that's rather surprising.
And a lot of people are speculating that the reason why Donald Trump hasn't been buying a lot of ad space on TV is because he's banking on this being his advertisement, but it doesn't seem to be going how he wants it to be going. I mean, he's fallen asleep. More and more evidence will come out as the trial goes on after the jury selection is over about the crimes he committed. It'll all cleanly be laid out. I'm not sure this is the advertisement he was looking for, and that is why we see all of the MAGA influencers doing a little bit of counter-programming on Twitter. I mean, Katie Britt went on Fox News. Alina Habba went on Benny Johnson's show. We see Charlie Kirk talking about this all over Twitter. Right here, this is what my feed looked like. Charlie Kirk said, "Remember, the justice system is not about right and wrong in deep blue Democrat strongholds like New York and DC. It's about politics, ideology, and vengeance. Blah, blah, blah." Marsha Blackburn said, "This trial against President Trump is a witch hunt and just another example of the left's political weaponization of our justice system." J.D. Vance said, "What Alvin Bragg is doing to President Trump is a disgrace to the rule of law and the opposite of justice. It's also election interference." It's so ironic to bring up election interference when the guy who's being charged has another trial coming up for genuinely trying to flip the results of an election. I mean, the cognitive dissonance here is crazy. And honestly, sometimes I think that the MAGA influencers know better, but they're just trying to trick the people that don't know better. So a great example is Tucker Carlson. When all of those texts got released saying he actually hates Trump, he actually doesn't believe in election fraud, and he can't wait for the day that Trump is gone out of the political sphere, but he's so captured by his audience that he still goes on air every day, or now he goes on Twitter every day on his news show, and still spreads these lies that have been disproven and that he knows aren't true. That just reaffirms my belief that a lot of these people know better, but they knowingly lie to their audience, which is almost more disgusting than just being stupid. And during today's lunch break, Donald Trump, of course, couldn't help himself and made a post on Truth Social, which is a screenshot of Elon Musk saying, "This case is obviously a corruption of the law. Lawfare." I'm sorry, but we cannot trust a single word Elon Musk says. He's a grifter, and he's been going off the rails for the past few years. I mean, especially we shouldn't trust what he says after he boosted that article saying that Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked by his gay lover. Just straight conspiracy theories, and now a lot of these theories that Elon Musk boosts are delving into this like racial realism territory where he thinks that black people are inherently more violent. But these are the types of people that the MAGA movement draws in. I mean, bigots and conspiracy theorists, and Donald Trump can't help but boost these people himself. It is absolutely disgusting. I can't wait to see how this trial develops. I'll be covering it here on my channel. For more coverage, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to comment a blue heart so I see it, and most importantly, make sure to have a great day.